All right, for this deep dive, let's start somewhere specific. Imagine this.
Okay.
The year is 1895. You're in Paris, probably in the basement of the Grand Café. It's dark, it's crowded, and you're there for the world's first public film screening by the Lumière Brothers.
Right, the cinematograph.
Exactly. And then this scene comes on, a train, a huge locomotive pulling into La Ciotat station.
And it just rushes straight toward the camera. Right, fills the entire front.
It does. And, the legend we've all heard is that people panicked, they screamed, they ran, thinking this machine was going to burst through the screen.
The famous train effect.
Yeah. That story is such a perfect place to start because it gets right to the heart of this really complicated relationship between cinema and the modern city.
It's a love-hate thing, really.
I mean, a total love-hate thing. Cinema celebrates the city's energy, but also frames it as this incredibly dangerous place.
And that's our whole mission here, to unpack that contradiction. But first, we really should tackle that train myth. Because the current academic thinking is that the story of the screaming crowd is... well, it's mostly an exaggeration.
An exaggeration. So it didn't happen.
Not like the legend says. It seems to have really picked up steam later, in the 1920s and 30s.
Why? Why invent a story like that?
Well, it serves a purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you make those first audiences seem completely naive, like they couldn't tell reality from a picture.
Then you, the later audience, feel much more sophisticated.
Exactly. It's a way of patting yourself on the back for being modern.
So... if they weren't all running for the exits, what did it actually feel like in that room?
Oh, it was sensational. No doubt about it. There was a real physical thrill. There's this one anecdote from a New York screening.
Yeah.
They kept an ambulance on standby outside because a couple of women apparently almost fainted from the sheer excitement.
Wow. So it wasn't terror, it was excitement.
It was what you could call excitement entertainment. Think of it like an early roller coaster.
Right, you feel the danger, your body thinks it's real for a second, but your mind knows you're perfectly safe.
Precisely. You get to flirt with the power and the chaos of the industrial world, that locomotive, the factory, all from your nice, safe seat. Cinema was promising to plug the shock of the modern world right into your nervous system.
That idea, visceral shock, that takes us right where we need to go for this deep dive. Because if that was the start, we have to go to the place where that shock and the city itself just peaked. We have to go to Weimar Berlin in the 1920s.
Weimar Berlin. I mean, what a perfect example. It was a cauldron in every sense of the word.
A cauldron is a good way to put it.
You've got the city reeling from the war, but at the same time, there's this incredible explosion of art and culture. And underneath it all, constant economic and political crisis. It was just the modern city personified.
And the birthplace of the city film, you get these incredible, iconic movies like Metropolis, Asphalt.
Or Berlin. Symphony of a Great City. The city wasn't just the setting, it was the star.
And what's so fascinating is that as filmmakers were trying to capture this, you had thinkers, philosophers trying to define it.
Like Georg Simmel.
Exactly. How did someone like Simmel try to process this new urban experience?
Well, Simmel's work is just crucial here. He basically draws a line between the predictable, calm life in the country and the total sensory assault of the metropolis.
Which assault, yeah.
He says, in the city, your brain is just constantly bombarded. It's the sound of the trams, the lights from shop windows, all these strangers' faces, billboards.
It's relentless.
And he theorized that to survive this constant neural stimulation, the city dweller has to develop a psychological defense. He called it the mental shield.
The mental shield. So what's it shielding you from?
From burnout, essentially. To cope, the metropolitan person becomes more detached, more rational, more reserved. Simmel even argued a bit uncaring.
Because you can't react emotionally to everything.
You can be overwhelmed. It's a survival mechanism. You develop this distance.
And this is what's so incredible. The art form of the moment, cinema, it didn't just show this chaos.
No, it recreated the feeling.
Well, it recreated the sensation of that shield breaking down.
That parallel is everything. The rhythm of the city, it's fragmented, it's jarring, it's full of shocks. And that perfectly matches the new language of cinema.
The rapid cuts, the montage.
Yes, all those new editing techniques. They were the perfect language to express the fragmented perception, as he called it, of this new metropolitan man. Cinema was sensory overload by design.
So if the city dweller is taking on this more distant, observant posture, how does that change the way they even look at the city?
It changes everything. The city stops being just a place you move through to get somewhere. It becomes a show, a spectacle.
A spectacle.
And this leads us right to another thinker, Walter Benjamin, and his famous figure of the flâneur.
The aimless wanderer.
Exactly. The flâneur just strolls, observes the crowd, treats the city like a landscape to be read. He's there for the visual pleasure of it all.
But the source material is quick to point out a pretty critical problem with that figure.
It is.
The flâneur is almost always a man, and that changes the whole dynamic of who is looking and what or who is being looked at.
A hugely important point. Because if the male flâneur is the observer, then women in this urban landscape often become objects.
Objects of desire.
Or commodities. You see this embodied in the figure of the prostitute, which creates this immediate, powerful link in these films between the city, desire, and danger.
And that danger is the absolute bedrock of the street film genre. The street isn't just a place to get from A to B anymore.
No, it's the stage. It's where everything happens. Seduction, crime, these chance encounters that change your life forever.
A great example of this is Joe May's film from 1929, Asphalt.
Yes, Asphalt is perfect. The plot on the surface is pretty simple. You have a very honest young cop who gets seduced by this very glamorous, wealthy female thief.
But the real story is in the spaces, in the locations.
Absolutely. You have this amazing contrast. Cop's home is, it's traditional, it's warm, it feels very old world.
And her apartment.
Her apartment is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's modern, luxurious, little cold, full of things she's bought. And the street. The asphalt of the title. That's the gray area in between.
The moral battleground.
It's where his traditional values meet her modern temptation. And it's no accident that the one doing the tempting is this independent, alluring woman. She's a direct forerunner to the classic femme fatale of film noir.
And you can feel the anxiety there, right? The anxiety of a male-dominated society seeing women gain more economic freedom and a new place in the city.
Oh, absolutely. But if Asphalt is about moral danger, Fritz Lang's 1931 masterpiece, M, just cranks that up to 11. In M, the street isn't just morally hazardous. It's literally deadly. There's a child murderer right there.
It's terrifying. And there's that one scene, the window scene, that is it's unforgettable.
Lang was a genius with visual metaphors. The killer, played by Peter Lorre, he's staring into a shop window. And in the reflection on the glass, you see three things layered on top of each other.
You see his face.
His distorted face, yes. Then you see the display inside a set of shiny, sharp knives for sale. And then you see the faint reflection of a little girl standing behind him.
Desire, danger, and innocence all in one shot. All framed by a shop window.
And that connects so perfectly to what another thinker, Siegfried Kracauer, was writing about. He had this concept he called the mass ornament.
The mass ornament. What did he mean by that?
Kracauer's idea was that in the capitalist city, everything gets packaged and polished into a kind of ornament for consumption. Think of dancers in a chorus line, all moving in perfect geometric synchrony.
Okay, like a product.
Exactly. And in Lang's scene, the killer's dark urges are merged with the knives, which are these beautiful, desirable commodities in the window. The city takes even the most horrific violence and packages it, sanitizes it, and puts it on display as part of the spectacle.
So, on the one hand, you have cinema showing the city as this place of crime and decay. But that can't be the only perspective, can it? Were there films that just celebrated the energy?
That is the essential question. And the answer is a definite yes. Which brings us to Walter Ruttmann's 1927 film, Berlin, Symphony of a Great City.
Which is such a radical film. I mean, it has no plot, no characters, really.
None. The city itself is the protagonist. Ruttmann's goal was purely to capture the rhythm, the visual texture of the city through montage.
And the film follows a single day, right?
Yeah, it starts with these abstract geometric shapes, almost like the gears of a machine, and then it throws you onto a speeding train rushing into the city.
That initial shock again.
Always the shock. And then we see the city wake up, the machines in the factories start their rhythm, workers marching in step, the chaos of traffic, lunch breaks, nightlife.
He's not judging it. He's not telling a story about it.
Not at all. He just wants to transmit the pure visual pleasure, the shocks that Simmel talked about, directly to the audience. He'll cut from a crowd of people to a window of lifeless mannequins, or make the repetitive factory work look like a kind of strange industrial ballet.
It's like a visual piece of music. You just have to let it wash over you.
And that really sums up the dual legacy of these films. They were, without a doubt, a product of all that chaos in 1920s Berlin.
Born from it.
But by giving that chaos a shape, a form, they also became a producer of urban culture. They fundamentally changed how people saw and understood the modern city.
It's an incredible journey when you think about it. We've gone from a few startled people in a Paris basement.
Maybe.
Maybe startled, right? All the way to the dangerous, seductive streets of Weimar Berlin, and then to this pure, rhythmic, avant-garde vision. The city's chaos didn't just give cinema a backdrop. It literally built its language.
It shaped the very grammar of film. And as we wrap this up, I keep thinking about something from the source material about those very first films.
The country bumpkin character.
Yes. The stereotype of the person from the country who supposedly couldn't tell the difference between the image on the screen and reality.
Right, because back then the assumption was that there was a clear line, a hard line between the real world and the projected image.
There was. But now I have to ask you, and really I'm asking everyone listening, what about our lives today? In our cities, we're constantly looking at screens, our phones, GPS maps, social media, feeds that layer information over every single thing we see.
You can't escape it.
So how clear is that line for us now between the physical, real city and its thousands of digital representations? Are we, in a way, becoming the new naive viewers? Not because we'd run from a train on a screen, but because we're struggling to separate the real place from the endless data we layer on top of it.
A question to think about the next time you're navigating a street while looking at your phone.